As you can see, we're now at the point where our design is beginning to take form. We've almost completed the base of the mobile traffic light, and all we need to do is add a few finishing touches to complete this portion and then close off this portion of the job and move on to the upper sections. So in this lesson, what we're going to do is add a control mechanism here, and we're going to duplicate that detail to the bottom bracket as well. So to begin with, firstly, we want to isolate our problem. In this particular case, we need the top bracket, and we need the point that represents the center of that bracket. Using the command that we've used previously, the hide command, that's the light bulb, we're just simply going to left click and turn that off. And now we're going to access it using the swap command by digging underneath that command with the blue triangle. So you can see it there now. Next, we're going to add a couple of construction lines. So we'll double click, get our image up on screen. So in order to do that, with our standard title bar, all we need to do is scroll across to the magnifying glass with the two yellow circles in it, and right click, and then everything is on screen, zoom selected. Now we're just going to draw a construction line. We're on Con B layer, so we'll just take that across there, take that across there. There we go. We're using the polyline command to do that, and we have mid and int snapped on our snaps commands. Okay, there we go. And now all we need to do is draw a midline across, and I'm just going to draw a final construction line, so you can see how quick we can produce these construction lines once we get adept at it. We are now just clicking using the polyline command by right clicking to bring it up before. We're clicking on the point that we imported in previously, and we just want to drag down to int. That will do nicely. And at the bottom of that line there, we just can see it there. We're going to put another point in. So we just left click on the point command, left click on the end of that line, and we can actually delete some of these construction lines. We don't have to keep them there permanently. Okay, we're going to use that point to construct a circle that will then drag out to the center. So we go to the left-hand side, the circle command, left click, click on the point that we've just got, and now on the front view, we're just dragging that line out, and the radius that we want will be 23 mils, so we'll just key that in, 23, and you can see we now have the construction line that will form the rebate for our control. A little bit of an alum head control which will allow us to screw that section up and down the mounting pole. Okay, we can see it there. That looks fine. Now we're just going to use our polygon command. So just two down underneath the circle command, you can see a little hexagon. We click on the first one there. Center is grabbed. And we can do this one by eye on this occasion. So we now have a hexagon. Now, if on your Rhino version there, it's not coming up as six-sided, all you have to do is type in the letter N and then the number of sides that you want. By default on this software at the moment, we have it set to 6. Now we're going to extrude that command. So we go to left-click solid, scroll down to extrude planar curve straight, and again we're just going to do it by eye for this design at this stage. So we have a small recess in the mounting ring, there we go. Then we're grabbing the polygon that we've used before, the hexagon. We're just left clicking it and just arbitrarily dragging it to the side. Now we're going to dig underneath the command line, right click, extrude planar curve straight, and you can see we're digging in there. That's it. Now we're going to need Boolean union those elements. So we're going to subtract that from the mounting bracket, but to begin with, we're going to join the geometry which we've just created. So we grab the cylinder, we grab the hexagon that we've created there, and click on Boolean union halfway down. There we go. And you see if we click on it now, The entire surface will be grabbed. Now we're going to subtract that from the mounting ring. So highlight by left-clicking on the mounting ring, dig underneath the Boolean union command, and the second one along you'll see is Boolean difference, left-click, and then simply click on the geometry which you've just created, and you'll see now we have the makings of an adjustment mechanism. So that part's completed. Now we want to put that back on the area that we were working before, or see how that looks. So we simply float our mouse over the light bulb or hide command, and this time we right click to show all the elements that we've got there. Click on perspective at particular times just to confirm that we've done the right thing. Everything's looking quite good there. Excellent. Now, one thing we forgot to do at the start there, although this will be an opportunity to test our recovery situation, is that we mentioned that we were going to put the same mechanism in the bottom ring as well. So that's a straightforward procedure. All we need to do is click on the 4 commands, and we can reverse our commands back. I think the default setting is about 20, so we simply go to the undo command, undo, and you can see just simply by clicking it twice, the Boolean union that we made previously is back in position. All we need to do now is use the copy command, transform copy, and we can just drag that down just by eye again on this occasion, down to the lower portion. We can leave that in position where it is for the time being. We'll bring the other element into shot. So in order to do that, we dig underneath the hide command, swap hidden invisible, so you can see we're repeating commands progressively the whole time. We're going to left click on the lower mounting ring. We're going to hide that, and now we're going to swap again. So we'll do it a different way this time. We'll just simply right click on the command bar, scroll down to the second element, and swap hidden invisible. So you can see we now have, if you look on the perspective viewport there, we have both the lower and upper mounting rings in position. Double click on that. I'm just going to grab that Boolean union that we moved down before, drag by left clicking on the mouse, and just by eye at this stage. Look, we can set up construction lines to position this exactly, but for the purposes of our concept model, we're just going to undo that, drag it back into position. Now, if it's snapping off things as you're dragging, just simply disable the snaps command, and then you can manipulate it without it snapping all around the place. And it's good to flick between the 4 views, because you can see errors that might occur just by having it on one view can be rectified by flicking your eye around the 4 views to confirm that where you place things is actually where you intended. So we now have those Boolean unions at the top and bottom now. We simply need to subtract them. So we can just left click on the top one, on the bottom one, left click while holding down the shift key to grab the top mounting ring, and we're now going to subtract the elements that we put in before. So we dig under our Boolean union command, go to the second one along, and we have Boolean difference. Then we're going to left click on the top one. Correction, that was the bottom one. Left click on the top one now, and simply right click or press enter. And when we look on the perspective view, if we highlight that, you will see we now have our adjustment mechanisms on both mounting rings, which will add believability to the design. Place that back into the model, or see what that looks like in the overall model by right-clicking on the hide command, and we can now see everything back in position. Okay, so just briefly in this lesson, what we've done is we've added some additional detail and believability to the mounting ring, and we've put in a circle and a polygon construction line, then turn those into 3D geometry using the solid extrude planar curve command. And we've used the Boolean commands firstly as a Boolean union and then as a Boolean difference in order to finalize that detail. Okay.